Hello and good evening. Jürgen Kleinknecht from ZDF in public. Thank you. Public broadcaster in Germany, located in Mainz. I would like to tell you a little bit about HbbTV, which is our form of connected TV, which is already in place. Now, if you haven't heard the name HbbTV, this is quite common, so I'll just say it once and then we discuss afterwards about namings. It stands for Hybrid Broadcast Broadband Television, and even my colleagues at ZDF, it took quite a while to learn that, what we are currently doing. Now we have a portal, and I will tell you why we use this standard and what we do for the audience for the license fee. Now, as we are a public broadcaster and as we are doing moving pictures, I thought it might be a good idea to start with a little clip, especially if it was a little bit difficult to bring our living room here. So I give you a little insight how that looks in our demo suite in Mainz. Now there is actually a sound on it, which you might not be able to hear because we couldn't switch that to the loudspeakers. The good thing is I hadn't to clear the rights for the music, so I'm on the safe side. Now you can see here the first is the linear experience. This is the video on demand portal, accessible on the with the red button. And obviously, to see this video on demand, you should have connected your TV on the internet before you can be able to access. This is actually one of the most used documentary formats in our videos. It's about science, nature, and history, as you can see here. And obviously, it's in HD, it's available as well. If your broadband connection is good enough to see that. And you can also search for certain criteria. It's not a Google search, but at least it works as well. So should you be interested in other topics like sports, you will find that accessible on the remote control as well. Now the interesting thing seeing these pictures is that as a video on demand portal on the TV, we have a younger audience looking at these pictures, younger compared to our live viewers, and younger in German terms means below the age group of 60, so that's it. And I hope you like these pictures, because I thought this is a nice contrast to the current weather condition, something to look ahead for the next summer. Right, so what's our perspective on HbbTV? As we've heard before from my colleagues of SES, it's important that we have this TV screen in the living room, and that is our first connection to the viewer. That's what we did at ZDF since 50 years. Now suddenly there's video on demand and on the remote control in the living room. So you don't need another device, it's just the red button on this remote control. The nice thing is that HbbTV is widely adopted by quite a number of manufacturers. This is good for us because it justifies our investment and our human resources doing this portal, especially in a discussion about the license fee, I think, which is not only in Germany but in the whole of Europe. And equally important is that the integrity, the full editorial control of our broadcast programs is fully protected. So, at least in theory, no advertising, no overlays over our programs. And last but not least, it's there. You might not have heard HbbTV, but if you go to vendor and ask for smart TV, in most cases you'll get HbbTV included in that. And I can still look at my colleague from Sony. It works there as well. It works, there are users and viewers. That's what we know. So, what's the perspective of the viewer? ZDF Mediathek is a VOD portal since 2001. It's, at least in Germany, a well-established brand name. Be accessible via the PC and the laptop. In 2010, actually at the International Television Show, we put that video on demand portal also on HbbTV, and suddenly you didn't need the keyboard anymore for access online video, you just had the remote control. And we already heard figures, between 5 and 8% of all TV sets are really connected to the web. That's something we see. It's, I would say, 2% of ZDF's online video usage is coming from HbbTV. It doesn't sound much, but on the other hand, don't forget that there are almost no publicity about HbbTV, so most viewers really do get there by chance, not by knowing that. And for the viewer, it's important also for us, it is easy to use, it is unrestricted, there are no adverts, and it's free of charge. Now, the practical side, what we are currently doing. It's approximately 70% of all our programs which we have on the web, being on our normal online portals or on HbbTV. You might ask, why not 100%? Well, we've already talked about rights. The remaining 30% can either not be paid for, or we can't afford it, or it is just not possible to clear the rights just before on air. What we also do is that we use that portal to put on exclusive content for our news shows. So should you need further background, for example, about Mali, you can access the HbbTV portal and getting further graphics, further text, and further videos attributing to this specific show. What we did for the Olympics was that we not only had one live channel for the Olympics, we had 6 additional channels, so every sports flavor could be accessed on HbbTV as well. And we are currently planning to integrate a sort of a social viewing. So should you invite your friends via Facebook, Google Plus, or any other social network, then you can say, well, let's share this video on demand experience and let's discuss afterwards. Now, the challenges, we already discussed about naming. My suspicion is that when the naming had been done in the standard body, it might have been that the marketing person had a very long coffee break, because HbbTV might not be very handy, and if you ask in a big store, in a big TV store for HbbTV, even the vendors don't know that. There are challenges for the copyright and licenses for the web distribution. Obviously, it's worldwide, but in practice, it is the same license, the same rights as we have to clear for the online usage. There's no additional legal things to look for, at least if you see only the video on demand side. Nevertheless, we've just learned this evening that our legal director just told us shortly before we came here that there have been occasions that there are certain screens where you have an overlay even if you choose one of the public broadcasters, something which is a headache for us and something which is obviously a task for the regulation. Also, something we have to look into is the different integration within the manufacturers' HbbTV portals. There are certain portals where you can access these video-on-demand portals independently of the channels you have just looked, and obviously as a public broadcaster you are side by side with YouTube, so there's another competition coming in here. And last but not least, Google TV, that is another alternative, I would say, and a challenge insofar that HbbTV as a European standard, as one example for a video-on-demand portal for the on a screen, is an alternative developing with Google TV, where you have the experience on the mobile device suddenly coming over to the TV screen, something which I find very interesting as well. Now, thank you very much indeed. I hope it wasn't too long, and I'm looking forward to a nice Q&A session. Hello and good evening. Jürgen Kleinknecht from ZDF in